Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today we are watching Jafar Ironclad in his Iowa, the Tier 9 US battleship. He's on the map Shatter in a 3-point domination game mode. And it's a Tier 10 battle, but there are only 2 Tier 10s on each team. And, well, the friendly team has 2 Tier 9s, the enemy only 1. But mostly there are Tier 8 ships around. And there is no carrier, so that's good news. Although there are quite a few destroyers. Also, at this point I'd like to mention that while I'm from Europe, from Austria to be exact, I'm aware that today is the 4th of July and that's the Independence Day in the United States. So I wish all of the viewers from the United States a happy Independence Day. And while I do have nothing special planned, at least I could do was pick a US ship for today's replay. Now let's take a look at how this battle is progressing. Just saw all 3 enemy destroyers briefly spotted here at A, so we know there won't be any currently at B or C. Friendly destroyer is capturing C. And Jafar, he is communicating with his team, and they don't drive directly into C, but they are in a position to give fire support. Now the reason why you might not want to push directly into here is probably because you are expecting destroyers to be waiting for you somewhere around here. But, you know, in this case, that's the case. We also see here on the left side, curious enough, there are a lot of enemies driving down this small channel. Which is pretty interesting. I usually wouldn't do that, but I guess they have also spotted the 3 destroyers here. So they might be aware that nobody is trying to ambush them. Although, you know, there are cruisers with torpedoes. I probably still wouldn't take that many ships in such a small channel, but I guess it's the fastest way they have towards B, and they have given up on A. Probably there are just too many enemies there to take it. And there is an Iowa showing broadside. Now this Iowa is probably trying to turn around and retreat. But well, while you are turning around, you are forced to show broadside, and that usually hurts. Which means in World of Warships you have to plan ahead where you are going. And this Benson is also in a pretty bad spot. I guess he reached himself, and while maneuvering out of it, is now getting destroyed. So there is the first blood, which is a good start. And those torpedoes, well, they are easy to avoid. Now the friendly team is already in the lead ship-wise, although they only hold 1 capture point, but this fleet should take care of it. And this Iowa probably won't live much longer. Okay. There goes the enemy battleship. There is North Carolina in a really bad spot. He's trying to find cover behind an island, but really there isn't much he can do to get out of this situation. And well, there are some friendlies who are a bit too far here on the right side. I think they could have gone for a more aggressive move. Because, I mean, it's now pretty clear that I have this point secured, and they will soon probably push towards B and help out. I think this North Carolina is aware that there is a destroyer waiting for him, and he really doesn't want to move forward. But I guess it's only a matter of time until Benson sneaks around the corner. And if not, then Jafar here probably do the job. Now the North Carolina is not looking at Jafar. He is really occupied with this Benson. And this Benson is maneuvering, probably going for a torpedo run pretty soon. If not, then he will get hit in his broadside. And well, there goes the North Carolina. He was doomed. He was in a pretty bad spot. So it's already looking rather good. Still have a one ship advantage. Well, I mean, they are behind concerning capture points, but they should be able to take B. All of this fleet here is, well, there is a battleship a bit behind, but the majority of the fleet is here together and in a position to push. There is a cruiser who might be able to take this point with the fire support here provided. And I think this cruiser might be pretty doomed as well. So the friendly cruiser can now capture B in peace, I guess. The team is now really leading with ships, a big margin. And I guess this battleship here in the north is probably gonna die because he doesn't have anyone close to support him. But the majority of the fleet is here together. And I mean, I could now play it passive and just defend the 2 points they have. They can make a more aggressive move and try to push towards A. And it looks like this whole force is probably pushing here. Of course, if you take the long way around, you leave yourself open here in the middle. But it seems that they're currently in a good position. And we got a warning for a cyclone here, so pretty soon visibility will be reduced. So they should take the New Orleans out quickly, or he can hide in a storm. Also, you also have to remember, a badly wounded ship is still as dangerous as a full health one. So letting a New Orleans escape into a cyclone would be bad, but they got her. And look at that, there is a North Carolina showing broadside. So this North Carolina just sailed in a really bad spot, because there is a large fleet approaching him and he doesn't seem to have a lot of support. We know there were enemy ships here in the north who killed the battleship, and I don't think we know where the Yamato is currently. Look at that. It's nice to see the whole team pushing in together. But the enemies that were here in the north, they're probably now going to try to take the points B and C. But when you see how it looks shipwise, your friendly team is probably feeling pretty secure, although I can tell you it's gonna get exciting. So tables can turn rather quickly in World of Warships. Oh, those North Carolina is also dealt with, and there are huge torpedo walls coming now. And there is the Yamato. Now the Yamato is a very deadly ship, with powerful guns, good armor, the most hit points in the game, and obviously as every battleship has the ability to heal. So you gotta be careful. But with this many ships, you'd think a single Yamato is easy to deal with. But the Yamato also has 2 destroyers, and those destroyers could be sneaking up behind or shooting torpedoes through this channel. You will always have to be careful and watch out, especially if you have a group this tight. But I guess the enemy destroyers are capping. Since we know the Yamato isn't, and both points are being capped, this Yamato is completely alone. So the enemy team decided to split up. And there goes a friendly destroyer. So the Yamato has claimed the first victim. Now Jafar announces that if necessary he will just go for a ram. And I mean, they have the majority of the ships. If they can take out Yamato with as few losses as possible, this is basically an assured victory. And, well, the Yamato has claimed another victim. Now, there are friendly torpedoes coming from the back. And as several people have pointed out, there is obviously no such thing as friendly torpedoes. They're just torpedoes shot from a friendly ship. They will still hurt you if they hit. And yeah, it's not looking so good. Got himself a high caliber award. Now I think he's turning here now left to the ram, and in order to ensure that the Yamato dies, but misses by just a little bit. So, and there goes the New Orleans. So suddenly it's 4 against 2, but there is still a full health Iowa over there. And well, the Yamato is almost dead, so the Iowa should finish off this Yamato any minute now. Or not. There goes the Iowa. So the Yamato captain put up a hell of a fight. But well, his guns are pointing in the wrong direction, and there is nothing he can do now. He will very soon die. Well, I guess I said that a second ago. But this time he was finished off. Now it's 2 against 1, and the enemies have more capture points and more points. So suddenly not looking that great anymore. And Jafar is very low health. Now he still has 2 uses of the repair party available, but it's currently on cooldown, and it will take a while until he can heal back up some of his health. Now on the bright side, the cruiser is still at full health. And we don't exactly know how healthy the enemy destroyer is, but you know, he might not get spotted. And yeah. Now it's a bit tricky. What are they going to do? They have to capture additional points, so they will lose. They could split up, which makes them vulnerable to the destroyer. But if they just go towards one point and the destroyer drives around them and captures another point, they might be in trouble. The enemies have already a lead, and if the enemy can maintain at least one capture point, they'll probably win over time. So it's really a tricky situation. On the other hand, the layout of the map is an advantage, because if you want to go the long way between the capture points, well, you sail a very long. The only way to go straight between the points is through those narrow passages, which means you will most likely get spotted. Of course, close quarters fighting is not advantageous if you have torpedoes like a destroyer. So this game is far from over. And well, yeah, there are only 5 minutes to play. Now they are discussing strategy here in chat and what's the best thing to do. He originally intended, I think, to go wide here towards C, but he's now decided to back up a friendly ship, maybe sticking together. As I said, it's a tricky situation. Because if the enemy avoids fighting and just goes for capturing points and you stick together, you will lose over time. And there are torpedoes coming, so we know the destroyer is somewhere over there and is probably heading towards A. So the enemy destroyer did take the long way around probably and decided to play it safe and capture points. Now they can go back and try to defend A, but if they both do that, and if the enemies can hold C, it might just be enough for them to win over time, because of the lead. If the friendly team splits up, then they are very vulnerable to get taken out by the destroyer. And there is the enemy destroyer. So he might have been a bit careless getting spotted over there, as he could have used some of the cover here to hide. And he hasn't used smoke yet. Maybe he's out of smoke, it's entirely possible. Now Jafar has switched to high explosive because, well, he is fighting a destroyer and it pays off because he did set the enemy on fire. And this will be very close. Keep in mind that if the friendly Iowa here sinks, the enemies will gain points and the friendly team will lose points. So if the enemy destroyer manages to sink the Iowa and then runs away, the enemies will probably. And the destroyers just... Well, he is using smoke sword. There are torpedoes incoming, but only one torpedo hit and the enemy was set on fire. He was set on fire before, so yep. Burned to death. Now let's take a look at the results. Java managed to get 3,565 experience. It was certainly very well played by him. And in the end he managed to set the destroyer on fire. The first fire was probably repaired using the repair consumable, and then the second fire just killed the destroyer while he was hiding in the smoke. And so Jafar ensured the victory. It was certainly an exciting game. I think it almost looked like they had won in the middle of the game, but the shout out to the enemy Yamato at this point, who almost turned it around and just went in there and slaughtered, and also earned significant amount of experience. I think the friendly team played well overall. I loved to see that there was some communication going on by them, and I think that it was a very exciting battle to watch. Jafar managed to get himself quite a few achievements: First Blood, Dreadnought, Kraken, High Caliber and Confederate. He managed 12 cap resets and he dealt 230,000 damage. So certainly a very well played game by him. I enjoyed watching it, I hope you enjoyed as well, and I see you guys next time.